morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Me and my friends are having a great time. It's not face to face, it's all online. We're all in our homes, miles away. Love them like my family, what can I say? My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you're never alone. Don't call or text me, it's about to begin. I've been patient, time for me to chime in. Comfy clothes on, feeling just fine. I'm busy right now, it's crafting show time. My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you're never alone.
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Let's have a good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
The Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Happy Monday, everyone. Not, yeah, I know. It kind of feels like Monday, doesn't it? But it's not. We're still in the middle of the week. And gosh, it was just crazy. Alrighty, yeah, I think we had a little bit of a mic issue, but I think we're back on track. So good morning once again, everyone. How are you today? I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning this morning. Let's see who we have joining us today. I see Debbie Maddock. Good morning to you. We've got Bettina. She's coming in from cold Tennessee. Oh boy. We've got Annette. 34 degrees in Connecticut. Oh boy. Joyce Adams is cold in Philly. And Robin's Quilt Basket, she's saying good morning to everyone as well. Faker McFake joining in from Louisiana. Let's see. We've got JBL from Alabama. We've got Melissa from East Texas. Let's see. I'm trying to go down the line. Jenny Owens, Melissa Hutchkins, Cheryl, good morning. Oh, Northern Lights were in full force in Wisconsin last night. Oh, that must have been beautiful. Oh, I would love to see that one day. That's amazing. Gosh, the colors, that just must have been something. Alrighty, let's see who we have. Marilyn, good morning. Renee, good morning to you. Sharon Lemons, good morning. Becky Chisholm, good morning to you. North Central Texas. Georgette from Knoxville, Tennessee. Let's see, Lisa Lilly from Richmond, Illinois. She'll be listening. She's driving to an appointment today. Alrighty, we've got people from Maryland. Let's see, Central Illinois, Barb. Let's see, Marge. We've got from the Texas Gulf Coast, and Lori, good morning from snowy Western New York. Wow. Okay, Sue, good morning to you. And of course, our friends from Canada are here. Yay! You guys are so funny. You amaze me. I love reading the chat later on. You guys crack me up on the chat as well. Marge from Wisconsin, good morning to you. Cindy Ball, good morning. Let's see. Joyce Adams, good morning to you. Barb, Melinda. I'm not sure if I missed anyone here. Oh, Leslie B, good morning from Lake Ridge, Virginia. Let's see, Crafty Puerto Rican Beach Nut to you from Virginia Beach. Good morning. Awesome. Okay. I hope I got everyone. If I didn't, oh, Jackie Hallman, good morning. And Leslie from Northeast Texas. Barbara as well. Okay. All right, guys, let's settle down, shall we? Because we've got a lot to cover. Okay, so if you are new to our live, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and this is a kind of daily session that we like to talk about crafting, share demos, do little tips and tricks, and all kinds of projects together. So if that's something you're interested in, you're definitely in the right place. Go ahead and pop yourself in the chat and say hello. We are very welcoming to all newcomers, and we just like to have a good time. So, you know, we like to have lots of laughs. Sometimes we'll have a cry here and there. But we're all good. Okay, so let's go ahead and raise our glasses. I like to make my toast every morning before we get started. So go ahead and raise your glasses. Just go ahead and grab a cup of whatever it is that you have in the morning. Coffee, tea, soda, water. It doesn't matter. We don't have any judgments. And of course, if you don't have one, no worries. I will pour you a cup. And being that it's a little cold out there, I guess we can have something warm, right? Get you guys nice and warm, because I think you guys threw some cold weather down to us down here, because it was pretty nippy yesterday, and a nice little sweater weather, which is really nice for us. So thank you for throwing some of that down here, and let's go ahead and get something warm now in our tummies, right? So raise your glasses nice and high. Cheers to everyone. I hope you have a fantastic day and a little bit of time in your craft room, I hope. Alrighty, yay. Go ahead and get your little swivel there, okay? Oh, Faker McFakes wants his coffee. She wants her coffee. She always wants her coffee. Yes, yes. And Dubraca wants her coffee. Yes. Everyone wants their coffee. Leslie wants her coffee. Everybody wants coffee. Okay, I guess they want something nice and hot and warm. You can even have some hot chocolate if you want, you know. All right, let's go grab our snacks, shall we? Because I know some people are hungry. So let's go grab a couple of snacks out there. We've got our little food cart. We got to do a little bit of exercise, right? It's the middle of the week, you know. Why not? I mean, it is hump day, right? So we're almost there. So let's go ahead and grab our snacks. We've got everything on the cart. We've got a couple of warm things. How about a nice warm croissant? That would be nice, maybe, right? And maybe some other things that you may be interested in, a nice corn muffin or something like that. We've got kale and carrots also for the healthy folks out there, and they've got some blueberry stuff there too, if you'd like. Oh yeah, it's donut day too, I forgot to tell you. There she goes. Okay, so we've got all our snacks, and you've got your drinks, and I hope you're in your cozy spot and you're ready to watch a nice and safe area. Yes, coffee, 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 Jenny. We will get you your coffee. No worries. It's all there. Okay, guys, we're going to be talking about something new today. We've been saying that we were going to do the Posh Santa, so here we are. We're ready to go. I did a little bit of cutting, not all of it, because I was kind of indecisive on some colors that I wanted to use, but then I just went ahead and went with it. So I do have a bolt of fabric sitting next to me here. I do need to cut this out. This is my background fabric that I'm going to be using. And we're going to be working on the Posh Santa. And if you are new, is it Posh or Josh, or I don't know. It's P-O-S-H, however you pronounce it. Posh. I think this is Posh. Posh Santa. Sorry, I think I mispronounced that. Yes, Posh Santa. Okay, so let's go over to the dust cam if we can. This is the pattern. It is by So Kind of Wonderful. And it's a really nice pattern that will work very well with your QCR Mini ruler. So if you have not purchased the ruler, you will need this ruler in order to do this pattern. We've used this ruler with a book and we've done a pattern. What was it, last week? Was it the week before? Sometime recently. So we went ahead and got the ruler and we did a pattern from the book, and now we are ready to make this one. And it's a nice size. It's a 28 by 38 inch finished size pattern. So it works out pretty well. Not too big, not too small. Can be a nice little wall hanging that'll be complimentary and go next to the tree that we did with this. Yeah, Posh like Josh. Okay, yes. I don't know why I kept saying Posh. It's Posh. Not sure. Anyway. Okay, so it does tell you down on the bottom that it does use the QCR Mini ruler. Oh, your ruler's set to arrive today. Well, perfect timing, Flo. Awesome. You will be ready to go on this one. Now, a lot of these techniques we somewhat talked about when we were doing the first project. And the first project was with the tree. It was the giving tree. That one was a very simple, beginner-friendly type of project where it was really just one type of cut that we were working with. Possibly, actually, it was two types of cuts that we were working with the ruler. This one is a little bit more challenging, and it has several different cuts that you're going to make with the ruler, and you'll have to position it in different areas of the ruler to get a different type of cut that'll make a different type of design for your actual outcome. So let's just take a look briefly at the picture here. You see the beard itself has a lot of curves coming around, and over on the mustache area, you'll see it has that curve, but it's like the two curves are almost welded together to give it that leaf-like shape. So if you kind of turn it sideways and you look at the mustache, it almost, and let me take the plastic off so it doesn't give you that shine. Let's see if that looks a little better. Okay, there you go. So if you turn it sideways and you look at the mustache, you can see that it has like that effect of a little bit of a leaf shape, right? So think about what you can do with that, right? If you're looking to make some leaves onto one of your projects, that's certainly one that you can do here. But of course, we're using it as a mustache, but it's definitely got the two shapes welded together. So I'm curious to see how this is going to get put together, because you've got that bias and all of that stretch going on there. So makes it a little bit difficult. But we are also just going ahead and working with some squares here, a little bit of some triangles, and we've got a lot of background space. We've talked about background space and things that you can do and embellish on that. So there's a lot of things you can do. I may add some little embellishments maybe on the tip of the hat, maybe a little bell or something that, you know, calls some attention there. I think that would be really cute. And for the band of the hat itself, you know, there's a lot of curves going on over here. All of this is curving all around the head area, the little band that blocks the eye here. That's a lot of curving going on here. So I can tell off the bat it's going to be a little challenge here. So we'll see how it turns out. We're going to take this step by step and see where things are a little bit different. And I kind of went through the instructions. I really love that the pattern has a little chart area, and I'll block off this. Where did my paper go? Here we go. Because you do need to purchase the pattern to see the cutting instructions. But I do like that they give you a nice little area here on the pattern for you to be able to kind of write down what fabric you use for each of the cutting steps. And then it gives you like a little checklist, which is pretty neat. A lot of patterns I don't never see do that. And I think that was a really nice touch to be able to do that. So it allows you to really keep track of all your patterns there. But some of these steps are a little challenging, and we're going to go through the ones that I think, you know, you may want a little bit more assistance on, or at least a little bit more direction. Good morning, Linda M. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful morning, and thanks for joining. So yeah, oh, March says orange peel shape. Yeah, and I guess that's what you would call it, an orange peel. Yeah, right. And it's really nice that you can make that shape along with plenty of others, because we've only touched upon a couple of things when we did this first project, right? We basically were using the dashed line here and doing the cut this way. So we were basically lining up fabric against this line right here and then making the cut. And then in some other places we had, and we were using 5-inch squares for that, we had a larger piece of fabric, and we're doing the same thing. But this ruler has all of these other lines on here, and we haven't used any of these. It has a little dash line that we did use, but it also has the little dots here. We haven't touched upon that. We've got the dash lines with the 3 angles this way. You know, there's lines all over the place. So there's all kinds of different things that you can do for some of this stuff. And this pattern hopefully will show us some of that. And then you can kind of take everything that you've learned from the patterns that you made and how you use this ruler, and you can possibly just design your own, right? Alrighty. Oh, Nancy, you're late. No worries. No worries. You're not late. You're good. You're good. I love your name, Nancy. Okay, let's see here. So, oh, Phil says she's working on the tree, already have nicks in the ruler. Oh, no. And destroyed 3 rotary blades. Oh, Phil, no. You have to be very careful as you put your blade into these slots. Just take it very slow and try to kind of follow that curve all the way around. Be very careful with that. Don't try to go too fast. You do have to slow it down when you make that curve. That may help you out there. And then I don't know which blade you're using. Maybe you want to switch to a 60-inch blade if that helps, having a bigger blade in here. I am using the 45 and that works fine, but maybe the 60-inch blade will be, millimeter would be better for you. Maybe so that you can see a little bit more, to see where you're going on the curve. Let me know if that helps out. Okay. All right. So let's get started on this here. I'm going to go ahead and move some of these things out of the way. Like I said, I have already started to cut a lot of the pieces here. So I do have a little board full of things here. Oh, you found that using the 28mm rotary cutter works well? Okay. Yeah, sometimes if you need to be able to see, you would go with the bigger one, but if you want to get close to it in terms of avoiding nicks and stuff, then you would go down a size, right? Yeah, just kind of to help you out with the curve. It can be a little challenging. It takes a while to get used to it. I had to do it on a couple of scrap fabrics before I really got the hang of that, doing that curve there. Okay, so these are all of the fabrics that I went ahead and cut. So we've got some reds, though this is the fabric that I chose for the hat portion on the top. So these are the reds for that. I chose, now they have like a kind of bluish tinted white fabric for the band of the hat. I wasn't too much of a fan with that color, so I'm going to go with this nice little gray here, kind of a gray white. So it won't be so much of a white, but I don't want it to be too white because I want it to contrast and not blend in with the beard and the mustache so much. So I decided to go ahead and go with this gray color here, and I think that'll work out nicely. I've got this tanned beige type of fabric for the face, and then for the beard itself, I chose this white on white fabric. It's got some holly leaves. Let me see if you guys can see that. See, it's got a little bit of the holly leaves on there. So I thought that would be perfect. That would be perfect for it. Oh, thank you for your suggestions. No problem, Phil. We're here to help each other. That's what we're all about, right? If you have anything that you're struggling with, let us know because we want to help you. That's what we're here for. Okay, so we've got the white fabric here, and I think with the little holly leaves, I think that makes it really nice, and it's going to be all over his beard, which I thought was pretty cool. I almost went with another one. It was like a silvery white fabric, but I thought, you know, it's going to contrast too much with this silvery one. So I decided against it and went ahead and went with this white one for that. And then for the background fabric, they have this like gray tone. Let me put it a little closer. They've got this gray tone fabric in the background. I wanted to kind of brighten it up a little bit. I thought it's too many grays because I've already got the gray going on the trim of the hat. So I wanted something a little bit different that kind of spoke a little bit more of a Christmassy look. So I went ahead and I chose this one, which is a really pretty bright blue. And I thought that might resemble kind of like a snowy type of background in the back, kind of wintry, right? A little bit of blue. So I thought blending all this, and I like to kind of just grab one piece of each and just see what is it going to look like when I put all of these things together. Let me just grab another one here with the white. So these will be, yeah, these will be all the colors that will be in the pattern, along with, I will have black. The black will just be the little eye and the little nose. It's going to be teeny tiny. But other than that, these are the colors that I'm going to be using for this pattern. So this is kind of my little palette for this particular design. Haven't thought about my backing and binding just yet, so that one's kind of still in limbo there. Well, we'll see what we come up with. But this is the color palette that I picked, and I think this is going to work out just fine. So I'm going to go ahead with this one. We'll see what happens. Now, in terms of the cutting, it's pretty much straightforward in terms of the cuts that you need to make. There are a couple that you do need to cut and then do a diagonal cut, so make sure that you make those as well. So we'll have a couple of triangles to work with, so that's something a little bit different. So make sure when you cut those, don't handle them too much. Try not to, you know, stretch them. You don't want to warp them or anything. Go ahead and just make the cut, set it to the side, and try not to move it around too much because you don't want it to stretch or warp. So try to keep that over to the side. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna stick this ruler on to the side of me here, and we'll put this ruler over here. Now, I need to do my background cuts. And so the background cuts, I'm cutting it right off of the bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and I am going, now I got this bolt. This was part of the, before Joann's closed, you know, all those bolts that were on sale. I mean, look at how many, look at that. It's huge, practically brand new, right? And this one happens to be, let's see, it's quilters cotton, and it's 108 width. So this is really for a backing, which is really nice because even though it's for a backing, I decided to use it for this, but I got that extra yardage right on the width, which is really, really nice. So it even falls off of my table, my cutting table here. So I'm going to have to cut it in two here because I can't get the whole thing in. So it's pretty nice that I get that extra piece, and I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I think it's going to work out just fine for this. So that's going to be my background cuts. So I can do the background cuts, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to try not to cut it. I'll just cut this tonight because I want to show you a couple of things that are in the pattern itself. Now, first couple of steps are pretty much what we've done with the giving tree. They're just pretty much 5-inch squares, cutting it on the slotted or dashed line here. Just assembling your fabric to that line and then making the curved cut. So pretty standard in terms of getting that cut out. So I'm not going to go through those steps again. There is one part where you are working with a 4.5 by a 7.5 width fabric. And you want to pick up, let's see, I think it's the beard and a background. There's about 10 cuts that you got to make. And you're going to line them up the same way you would the 5-inch, but it's going to be a longer piece, a larger piece. Let me see if I can find one. We'll just go ahead and go with this one here. So you're basically lining it up here. It's just that it is a larger size of fabric that you're lining up, but you're still lining it up on the dash line, and you're going to be making these cuts here. You're going to do one cut on one corner, and then you're going to do a second cut on the opposite corner. Okay, so after you make this cut right here, you're going to turn your ruler around. Oops. And then you're going to go ahead and line it up this way. And there, you're going to make that cut over here. So you're cutting these two angles here. You're going to be left with a tiny little piece in the middle. And I believe it tells you to just discard that. It's just a small piece. You can keep it for scrap if you want. But it's just a tiny piece. So it really uses up the entire piece of fabric for that particular step. So I wanted to point that out to you. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out is later on in the pattern, it kind of talks about putting together the hat trim. Now on the hat trim, one thing you want to note, let me set this over to the side. Actually, I'll put it on this side here. And let me take out 2 of them so I can show you here. Let me grab 2 pieces here. And I believe this is the, let me just double check myself here. Yeah, 2 of the 5 by 5-inch hat trims. So let me double check. I am at 5 by 5. Yep, so these are 2 pieces. One thing you want to know in the instructions, read the instructions carefully. We've talked about that. Going through the instructions, reading them, underlining certain things, putting little stars, marks, whatever you need to do to draw your attention to a specific step. This is one of the steps that you want to make sure that you do. And it kind of repeats in a couple of other steps. So make note of that, okay? Oh, Cindy Ball said this, I am here. This is exciting. I do not get to start till end of next week. I am still deciding on the fabric for the brim. Yeah, the brim was a little challenge there. You purchased a blue fabric for the background too, Cindy? Yeah. Yeah, I think I almost went with another one. It's a lighter blue though. And then I decided, I think I wanted a deeper blue to kind of resemble that winter. So yeah, the challenge for me mostly was that brim. Kind of threw me off that they were doing that blue, but it kind of makes sense because you don't want to have the hat to be, the brim of the hat to be white, and then you also have the mustache and the beard to be white. So there's not a lot of contrast going on there. And I thought that was a really nice ability to change that. And so we'll see how it turns out with the gray as the brim, and then the blue is the background. I wanted to kind of just brighten it up because I thought it was just a little too dull in the back with that gray. I wanted it to resemble more winter. So we'll see how this thing turns out. Okay. So, okay, getting back to the pattern. Again, you're reading through it, you're underlining and making your marks on the pattern as you go along. One thing you want to make sure that you look at, because it does tell you that you can stack up several pieces and put them underneath the ruler and then make the cut. But there are certain steps in the pattern that it tells you when you're stacking it up to do right size together. And the reason it's telling you that is because it wants you to do a mirror image of the two. So in this case right here, I'm going to take the two gray pieces of fabric and I'm going to just line them up here and make sure that these are nice and put together, no overlapping. Use your fingernails and scratch to get the to get this aligned correctly. Then go ahead and since we're doing right size together, we're going to line it up with our ruler, and then we're going to go ahead and excuse me, line this up and then make the cut. And so I am not using my cutting mat. I'm not looking at my cutting mat. I'm only looking at my top ruler because there's no need for me to line anything up underneath. All I'm doing, it's like it's slightly off these two. Got a tiny little piece sticking out right there, but I'll fix that later. So I have my two pieces right size together, and I'm going to line it up on that dashed line. I'm going to do it kind of this way so you guys could see that. See here. So I am lining it up along the dashed line. We've seen this before, and we've done it on the giving tree. So this is our standard step that we were doing. However, in this case, we are lining up our fabrics to be right sized together. And so you want to make sure that you're doing that, because if you do not, if you just stack them like this and you make the cut, you're going to be cutting it the wrong direction. So make sure that you are putting your fabrics right sized together before you do that. Would a white batik make it easier, seeing that some cuts are one way and others are another way? A white batik, that would be a nice touch, doing a white batik on there. I mean, it really would depend. I don't want it to have too much of a design on there, but that you can certainly do something like that down here. I don't know if I would do that for the mustache. I think I would stick with the beard to be the white batik, and then maybe the mustache, you'd want something a little bit more of a solid for that. And let's see if, because you can see here, look on the dust cam here, see how they're using a little bit of a different fabric on the beard than they are on the mustache. Yeah. So you can play with that. That would certainly be nice to do that. But you want to be careful if it's got too much of a design to it. Those batiks have those beautiful different tones, right? These are like the painted kind of fabrics, and they're gorgeous, but you have to be careful where you put that, because I wouldn't want to put it on the mustache. The beard, I think it would look just fine. Yeah. But the mustache, I'd be a little careful with that. Kind of have to play with it. It depends on the fabric choice. So just test it out. Just look at it and see if that will work. All right, so I'm lining this up here. I'm going to go ahead and just do the cut. I'm not too happy with my cut here. It's like I am slightly off, just a little bit. But I do see the difference, and it's driving me nuts here. Okay, it's not too bad. I will put this on this side so that will be cut off. All right, so I will line this up with my ruler on that dashed line. I'm looking at my point, I'm looking at my sides, everything's all lined up, and I'm ready to go ahead and cut. And I am doing right sides together. So make sure that you make a note and put a little star on that pattern where it indicates right sides together, because you will need that to be pointed out. Now on the ruler, of course, it's got this little area here where I can insert my blade and then just go ahead and make that cut. Take it nice and slow, going all the way across to the other side. And then I like to pull to see. I knew my blade was getting a little dull here, so I didn't make too good of a cut on this end. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again. There we go. It had a little nick there. And so there it is off, and I have my A and B section. And, you know, now on here, since I did right sides together, you know, these pieces, and most likely it's probably something from here that you're using, you need it to be mirror image, right, to put that together. So who knows exactly where this is going to go. I'm just picking little steps in the pattern to get us going, but make note of where in the pattern it does indicate that, because it will make a difference later on. Okay, so let's see where else I wanted to kind of point out a couple of things. So let's see here. Another area is where you are cutting, right? So there's other places in the pattern where it's telling you not to cut on the dashed line, right? It's telling you to cut on the little dotted line here. So it's a little bit different than what we had. And I cut a little bit extra on my cuts, just because I knew I'd demo some little cuts here and there. So yeah, I went ahead and I cut a little bit more than what I have here. So what you're seeing here, may be thinking, oh, that looks like a lot of cuts. It's actually because I just cut a little bit more. Yeah, be sure to label your pieces. Absolutely. Definitely go ahead and label your pieces once you are done. I went ahead and I did my cuts, but because I cut more, I didn't label anything yet because I want to go back and then recount and then just keep the pieces that I need. And then the others I keep to the side and I'll be putting them in my scraps. Oh, speaking of scraps, I went ahead and I started organizing my scraps. And I started using those project bags that I showed yesterday. Let me see, I have them here on the side. You just grab them. I started to organize some of the scraps that I have. So I have my greens all put together in here and ready to go. So I have so many scraps from all different projects here. And they're just cut up in all different sizes. And you can see some of them here are from the curved ruler. So we've got all these curves. So they're definitely things that I could use later on. So these project bags, you know, they really come in handy. I really liked that I found those, and they're a nice budget-friendly version of keeping your scraps in place, right? So I do keep all types of different greens on here. I just labeled it green. And so there's all kinds of organizing tips that, you know, I like to share with you guys. But I went ahead and got my greens in one. I've got my reds in another. The reds are really scrappy. I've got polka dots and gingham in here. It's just any kind of red, right? So I like to put those together. Yes, of course. Juju embroidery designs are 75% off starting today. Yes. So if you guys like designs by Juju, she's got all of her designs 75% off. And connecting threads was another one that also has 50% off. A selected amount of items on their site. A lot of people are starting all these Black Friday deals, so be on the lookout because I'm starting to see a lot of things pop up here and there. Now, I have an affiliate link for connecting threads. Matter of fact, I think I had printed out. Let's see. Yes, here it is. I had it here at 50% off of 50 selected items, and you can get free shipping because they also have free shipping. Mr. H went ahead. You can put the link on the chat if you want. That's our affiliate link. And they are just kicking off their best promotions of the year. So free shipping, US only, and 50% off of 50 selected items. So you definitely want to check that out. They have a lot of neat notions, fabrics and all kinds of goodies that is going out. And the fact that they're doing free shipping on top of that is really, really awesome. So pretty cool on that one. Shop and get the deals while you can, right? Save money any way you can, because they've got quite a few. And I think the Black Friday deals are starting to come out a little earlier and earlier as we get through the years, right? So check those out. And then if you're interested in the project bags and you want to organize yourselves, check these out as well, because I like to do it by color. Especially it helps out when I'm doing applique projects and I'm looking for a specific color for a part that I need to do, like, or in the hoop type of project. So nice way to organize yourself on this. Now, talking about organization and techie stuff, one thing I need to let you guys know about for our members, we've got a video. It's in the editing stage right now, so it should be coming out soon. So look out for a video for our members. We've got some techie stuff that we're going to be talking about, and some organizational stuff. And we've got a little surprise for you in that video. Mr. H has a little special thing that he's going to be sharing with you guys. And hopefully you guys can watch that video and then stay tuned for that little extra special thing, for some interaction with Mr. H on some technical stuff, right? He's that little techie geek, and he's got lots of experience behind his belt. And so he's going to share a lot of things with you guys on the technology side that, you know, can be a little bit confusing. So we're going to talk about some stuff, and go ahead and, you know, look out for that live Q&A with him, because that'll be a lot of fun. All right. So let's see now. Let's go ahead and get back to the pattern, shall we? Because we're starting to kind of run out of time here. Okay. Oh, yes. Another thing on the lines of Black Friday, if you're looking to get a machine, new sewing machine, quilting machine, whatever it is that you're looking for, you know, Black Friday is the time to start looking out for some of those deals. So also that was another thing that I had wanted to mention, and let me just check my notes here real quick. Yeah, so I wanted to mention that as well, that, you know, some of those deals are going to be coming out pretty soon. Sewing Machines Plus, all these other guys that are out there, they have nice deals, sewing parts online. They have deals coming out with machines and all kinds of things. So be on the lookout, you know, put them on your favorites, you know, get yourself something settled. I know I got my scan and cut during a Black Friday deal. Was it last year or the year before? I can't even remember how long I've had it now, but I saved over $100 on it. So just be on the lookout for that, because it should be coming up soon. Well, I don't know if Mr. H is going to be in front of the camera, but he is certainly going to share the information, right? It will be a live Q&A that we'll put, we are putting the video itself, but then we'll also have a live Q&A after that. So that he'll be sharing a lot more information. I'll give you guys an opportunity, at least for our members, an opportunity to ask very detailed questions on the topic that we're going to be discussing. And, you know, he can really help you out in technology wise. So hopefully that will be great. Yeah. And that says, I need all the tech support I can get. Yeah. Yeah, that it'd be nice. Right. And so we'll try to stick very close to the topic that we're doing, and I want to share more videos like that, because I think technology wise, you know, that's where people get a little hung up on certain things. So we'll pick a topic, and, you know, we'll kind of do some information, we'll share the video, and then we'll schedule some Q&As that are live. So I thought that would be a lot of fun. I think Mr. H is going to be in demand for a while. And he's been working, you know, he's been working on his computer for over 30 years. So or actually, no, more than that, about 40 to 45 years in the industry. So he's quite knowledgeable and has been tinkering with computers pretty much his whole life. As a kid, he likes to take things apart and put them back together. So So I guess he just had a knack for it, right? Okay, so yeah, computer issues today. Oh, had to restart, was watching on the TV, so was not able to message. No worries, Barbara. No worries. Yeah, I don't know about the cameo appearance, Cindy. He'll definitely be there and give us the information. He'll be there on the live, but I can't convince him to get on the camera. But you'll hear his voice, and he'll be there to share all kinds of things, and we can share screens and things like that. So, you know, definitely it'll be a lot of fun. Okay. So that is a couple of tips that I wanted to share on the pattern itself, and on working on the ruler, of which I have now lost. Here we go. And so the ruler itself in the pattern, there's a couple of steps where you're going to be playing with some triangles, and you're going to be lining them up on a 2-inch mark here. I've got some triangles somewhere here. So you're going to be lining them up a little bit differently on the ruler in order to get a specific cut. So we talked about lining this up to be able to be centered and then making the cut. So you'll have that tiny little slither here that you could probably going to be using in the pattern. And some of the other cuts that it talks about, and the pattern talks about as well, is trimming them off. So after you've made the cut, you then have to trim them, and it has you trim it a specific way. And actually, as I went through the instructions on here on the trimming up parts, I really liked how the pattern really explained the trimming up. It actually is even a little bit better than how the book did it on that particular pattern that we were working on. It really gives you a lot of illustrations on here with the picture diagrams, but the wording on itself in the pattern is very, very detailed, and I like how it really helps you out to position your fabric in the right place. So make sure that you go through the pattern and underline or highlight whatever it is you need to do, all of these little areas, because it's really going to help you out and avoid you making mistakes later on. Okay. I know there was one more piece that I wanted to show you, and I can't remember where it is. Oh, I think I just found it. Okay, on the face fabric, yes. So on the face fabric, and let me see if I can pull out one of those pieces. Let's see here. You pull these over to the side. See if I can pull out all the face pieces here. It was, I believe it was this one here. Nope. Let me grab the right piece of fabric. Give me a second here. This was 1, 2, 3. It was 4.5. Actually, I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one here. Okay. So on this particular cut of the fabric, which is for the face, it's going to tell you to do right sides together. For me, it doesn't matter because I have a fabric that is the same on both sides. And they want you to position this on the ruler. And let me get these together here. And they want you to position it on the opposite diagonal point. So on here, I've got my ruler lined up the same way as the pattern is telling me. It's telling me to line it up right about here. And let me see where that is. Give me a second. Of course, I'm getting this incorrect. I had it yesterday. Hold on a second. Let's see. This was going across the diagonal. Yeah, I think it's like this. Let me see if I got that right. Did I get that right here? Yeah. Okay, so it's telling you to position it, the curve cutout on the opposite diagonal points. Okay, so the curved is going to be opposite from the diagonal points on here. So we're looking at something, actually it's going to be a little bit more over on this side to about, now let's see, it's about here. There we go. So this is where they want you positioned, and it'll have the illustration on here. Let me just kind of show you this part. Can we go to desk cam? Okay. So here on this side, you see how they have the illustration here? And it tells you right sides together on the curve cut out on the opposite diagonal points as shown. And so here, the idea is for you to just get that little bit of a slither here. And you want to end up with these kind of like a, almost a cone, looks like a gnome, I think, actually, right? It looks like a little bit of a gnome shape here. And these are for the mustache pieces. So you're really cutting off just this slither here on this triangle on a curve. Okay, that's all you're cutting out. So you're going to be left with this nice little curve here, and that's going to be your mustache. Now, this one I found to be a bit of a challenge. So take your time when you get to this step. This is when you're working on that mustache part, and or it's actually the face and the main beard fabric, or the mustache pieces is really what it is, and that's the official name on the pattern. But make sure that you're lining this up correctly to get that cut, because you want to make sure that you end up with that nice curve. So you really want, if I can line this up just a little better, I really want to get something where it's just barely taking anything off on the end here, and then it's got this nice curve over here. But I don't want my curve to be jagged over here, right? So you want to make sure that your curve is over on this corner. So you turn your ruler to make sure that your curve slot that's on the ruler is right on this corner right here, because you want this to start off with the curve. And then you want to kind of move the bottom of the ruler as close as you can to the edge of your fabric, so you're not cutting off too much. And so now you've got that nice curve here, and you'll have that kind of little gnome looking type of cut right here. Okay, so in this case, it's kind of difficult because there's really no guideline for you. You're not lining it up against any type of line on the ruler. You're using the curve itself and the fabric corners to align your ruler. So it's a little bit tricky because, you know, you don't have that guideline, but it does do a great job on the illustration, and it is pointing it out to you in the verbiage of the pattern. So pay attention to that, because if you don't, you're going to be ending up doing something like this, and that is not correct, because we are not lining up on this line. Because look at what we have here. You're going to have a very small gnome looking piece that's cut, but it's not going to be the right size. You need to kind of adjust the ruler so that it comes into that top corner here, and then it bumps up to the edge here. That's going to give you a much bigger size cut here. Okay, and that's going to be part of that mustache and the face as well. So this particular fabric is for the face, but you're going to do the same thing using the white fabric to get that cut. And so you have to make sure that you line that up correctly. And the pattern, the ruler itself does not have anything for you to line up against and use as some type of a reference point. So make sure you're careful about that step, because that can be very tricky in getting that right. Take your time and look at the illustration on the book. It really helps out to make sure that you're getting and doing the right cut. Otherwise, you can very easily cut it incorrectly. and get the wrong size shape for that. So I wanted to point that one out on here, and it tells you, you know, the curve cut out on the opposite diagonal points, right? So that was one I wanted to show. And then what was the other one? Well, the other one comes later on, so I'm not going to go through that one just yet because it involves overlapping some fabrics together that you've already cut out that are curved. And so then it goes into some guidelines for sewing and whatnot, but we'll kind of get into those as we go along. I'm just going to do the basic stuff. So for following the pattern, the first step, simple, cutting out our red 5-inch squares. We're going to be cutting off the hat trim, again, 5-inch squares, just like we were for the other pattern against that dashed line. So you're just going to get your regular curves for that. Then we're going to be working with our larger pieces of fabric, and like we said before, it's just going to end up with that tiny small piece in the middle that you would discard. So I'll go through those, and then as I get to the more difficult cuts, you know, I'll point them out as we go along. But I'm going to go ahead and cut as many pieces as I can, and then we're going to get to start sewing some of this stuff together. So those are the things that I wanted to kind of point out for you to look out for when you are doing some of your cuttings. I know some of you have already gotten your pattern and you're ready to go. Maybe you're selecting your fabrics, or maybe you are just about ready to start cutting. So go ahead and do all of your pre-cuts from all of the listing here. There's quite a few to cut for your background fabrics as well as for the Santa itself. And then when you're ready to work with your ruler, the first couple of steps are very, very easy, things that we've already covered before. So you should be able to follow those along nicely. And tomorrow we'll start sewing some pieces together and starting to put this all together and get this thing going. This really shouldn't take very long to finish. It has a lot of similar steps to the giving tree that we did. So it should go along pretty nicely. Once I have my background fabrics cut, I'll be ready to go. All right, so lots of information today, right? We've got our little tips for our Santa here. We've also got some information for our members, looking out for that video and the live Q&A that we'll be scheduling. So look out for that soon. We only got a few minutes left, so let's go over, and I'm going to give you guys the inspirational quote of the day. All right, so today's quote of the day is, "The best holiday gifts are handmade, and the best time to start them is always now." So do not procrastinate, guys, because the holidays are right upon us and things are really starting to pick up. So you definitely want to, you know, start your projects and get them going. Oh, Cindy says, "Hey, Nancy, how's your mom feel?" Mom is doing well. She's a busy bee and keeping me on my toes. She's got me driving her all over Miami. I can tell you that. But we've done a lot of things with her over the weekend. It was mostly getting some house stuff done, you know, like she's got a water softener in her house, and so we had to go get the salts for that, and those bags are super heavy. So I had to do a lot of that, you know. So yeah, a lot of house things going on, getting her house all ready, because for Thanksgiving we'll usually have dinner, we'll cook all day, have dinner, and then we like to decorate for Christmas. And so, you know, we'll be putting up the tree, and I'll help her get all her decorations going. And then I get to go home and do it again to my house. So yeah, lots of things. She's having a great time. She's doing really well. Just going about doing her thing, you know. So she's having a lot of fun. She's doing a project, a crochet project for herself. She said she's finally going to make something for herself. She's doing a little table runner that she's working. It's a very simple pattern, one that she's made for me already. So she's just repeating it and just doing it for herself this time, which is great. I think that's fantastic. Alrighty, so guys, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. It really helps us out here. Now tomorrow we're going to pick up where we've left off here, and we're going to go ahead and finish doing the cutting and sewing, and we're going to have a great time. So thank you guys all for your support. I really appreciate all the time that you spent with me, and it's really appreciated because I really love being with you guys and like having lots of fun. Don't forget to share your pictures on Facebook and let us know what you're working on. And thank you again, guys, again for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.